Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about something really near and dear to my heart. I'm doing a sketchbook tour where I show you some pieces I made while I was in my first year of residency, or what we call intern year. I'm a second year psychiatry resident, and I did my intern year from 2023 to 2024. Whether you're in healthcare or not, many of you may know from like watching TV shows that in the US, to be a doctor, you have to go through 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of med school, and then another 3 to 4 years of residency as a physician in training. First year of residency is called your internship or intern year. A lot of doctors will tell you like it's one of the hardest years of their life, and I think they'd be right. I think there's two big reasons why it can be really challenging for people. One, I think, is because the transition from being a student for so many years to being in a real employee with relatively high stakes compared to, other professions, with people reaching about like 80 hours per week, can be pretty stressful. The transition not only comes with more responsibility, but a lot of time. Also moving to a different place, which brings like a lot of social and just it's kind of a logistical nightmare. And the other big thing I think is that most people are entering their late 20s when they're doing intern year, and that's when like people's parents or other close family members may start to get sick and start showing like their age, as we all do. And then sometimes residents themselves will get sick, and sometimes that can be their mental health. So, like I said, I'm a psychiatry resident, and I don't think any good psychiatrist can do their job well without, some introspection into their own mental health. And, intern year was hard for me for all the reasons I just mentioned. However, one of the best coping skills I had was, delving more into my hobby of, drawing and painting. There's a lot of research out there on why art helps your well-being, and why art therapy is a modality that is used for many psychiatric patients, with many hospitals even having art therapy in-house. I'll link some of those articles below. That's not what this video is about, although I can do one if that's something you guys are interested in. But for this video, I really want to show you my sketchbook and how each piece kind of reflected a certain moment of growth for me in my intern year. So let's get into it. So intern year, I was working in two main sketchbooks, this Strathmore one and this bigger Strathmore one. I definitely used this one a lot more. I just ended up getting this one first. So there are a few from the beginning of intern year showing more from this one. This is in the, as you can see, the tinier spiral bound Strathmore. This spread was like a lot of my stuff, like the spread is done within a period of multiple days. This was from just like a online video of a figure drawing costume course, and showed like a flapper girl, and I just used some pen and some watercolor to make her. And this was back in or July when I moved for my residency, and we're kind of in a downtime. Like we weren't really actually like on the wards yet. We had just moved and we were like in processing. So I had a lot of downtime to do this one. Um, and then this page, these two, and then this unfinished little girl. These are all like pictures from Pinterest that are pretty famous, like portraits that come up on the search whenever you search up portraits. Um, I did these. They're in pen and watercolor, and this one's just pencil. I was supposed to go over it and also color it, but I forgot about it, as you can see. But yeah, these two ladies I made while I was on inpatient psychiatry rotation, and there was, a lot of downtime towards the end of the day, like when the work was done, and like I had to stay for call. So I used that time to just make some drawings. The next page, um, this is also like a video, some, poses from someone in costume. The anime Golden Kamui, I think that's how you say it. But yeah, I just thought the costumes were really cool. I used Kuretake, the Art Nouveau set, to make this one. I really just wanted to test out the color combos for it, and I think it worked really well, especially with this costume theme. This was done in my first apartment when I moved here for residency, and I had a lot of fun doing it. It was just like a night after working really, really hard and being tired, but I kind of forced myself to do some painting because I knew it would be good for me. Now this is in my bigger sketchbook, as you can see, and this is a friend's Siberian Husky who was just like in this perfect pose, looked like he was playing chess, and I just thought it was really adorable. So I did the drawing completely like straight from pen, which was a little challenging, but it was a lot of fun, especially getting like his little expression there. So this spread is very near and dear to me, in that I work very hard on it. However, I don't love everything that's on it. So as you can see on this side, there's just, a bunch of pencil illustrations from my trip to Italy during my fourth year of med school. Usually fourth year, you have a little bit more time once like you interview for residencies and like all that's done and you're just kind of waiting to transition. And yeah, a lot of these are from like statues that I saw out there. Some of them in Florence, Rome, some of them in the Vatican. Painting. This is from a painting that I will link below because I'm forgetting. These paintings, this one I did again on a inpatient psychiatry rotation, but this was, like after I got done with work. I was trying to test out acrylic gouache. I had this set that I hadn't even opened, and I wanted to see what it was about, so I tried using it on a portrait that I found the reference for on Pinterest. I feel okay about it. Like, I think the values were done well. However, I don't think like the color choices were exactly what I wanted them to be. I think they're a little too saturated for what I was going for. This portrait is Jackie Brown from the movie Jackie Brown. After work, it was on TV, and I was just mesmerized by the movie and her as an actress, and I just had to draw her and then also paint her. I used oil pastels for this, which is why like some of it rubbed off on this side. I really wish like I knew about sealing graphite and sealing oil pastel in sketchbooks before I made this. Now I have those little spray sealers so that it wouldn't transfer next time, but unfortunately, you know, you learn from your mistakes. Now, these bottom ones, I have mixed feelings about. These two I really like. This one I hate. I hate so much. I don't want to look at it, but I want to also show you like the paintings that I don't end up liking. This is from like a Instagram reel of like someone doing falconry, and I just thought like the image was very cool, but it just didn't translate well to an actual painting. This one's from the movie Milena. It's like a old Italian movie, which I highly recommend it. It's kind of about like this beautiful woman in an old Sicilian village who, you know, becomes an outcast because of how beautiful she is. It talks about like women and how it can be like a curse to be beautiful because it brings like this unwanted attention and then isolates you from other women. And then here, this is just like a little painting of a marsh that I again saw on Pinterest. The little boat over here. I really like the colors that I used. All three of these were using the Miya HImi gouache. This spread is probably my favorite because I like everything on it. Everything was kind of done in different periods of time. This heron spread I started when Hayao Miyazaki's newest movie, The Boy and the Heron, came out, which was during like January of my intern year. And I just really wanted to draw gray blue herons, and the character in the movie is super cheeky, and I feel like I kind of captured that cheekiness in these little drawings of the heron. And then a lot of this spread is also filled with like little rectangles of me testing like my watercolors. It's really like how these like little boxes turned out. I think like even though they're like tests, they kind of look aesthetically pleasing on their own. This little watercolor painting is using these colors. This is like from a video game called Dordogne. In the entire background, like all the backgrounds for that game are done in watercolor, and I just loved like the way that the artist made them, and so I used one of the backgrounds as a point of reference. These two are doing studies of Erin Kate Archer. She's a artist on like all the social medias. She's known for this like pastel aesthetic using gouache, and I just was trying to see like how she did her color combinations. So these two are using references from pieces that she had. This is when I went to the Hamptons for a vacation. And yeah, I mean, it's just a little beach scene. Same with the gull. I saw him out there and I was like, I have to draw him. And then this little duck. I got the graphite Kuretake set, so I made this little duck to kind of test out the colors. And then this big gouache tree trunk was using Holbein gouache, and I used basically the little CMYK palette And it was during spring of my intern year when I was like almost done with the year, and I was just so happy that like everything was like blooming outside and I was spending a lot of time outside, and that was like really good for my mental health. And I just remember sitting around like in my backyard. I saw this tree trunk and like added all these details to it. It was a lot of fun to do. This spread, again, this deer, like I started when I was in the Hamptons, and it was using the Ferritales, is there Ferritales watercolor inks, and it has like glitter in them. It's like the blue, like one with the swans on it, and just loved like how much, like, I don't know if you can see it, but they sparkle. And yeah, I just drew this deer with like the antlers being like tree branches, which is like pretty stereotypical, but I enjoyed making him. This page was mostly just like me like swatching out colors, trying to get more colors from my watercolor set to see like what kind of color combinations I could do, and I even like labeled like what each thing was a mixture of. And then these colors are all from the Kuretake Art Nouveau set. And then this like samurai guy, I had this inkstone from when I was like probably like 8 years old. My mom like got me like this little calligraphy set, and like I somehow like kept that inkstone forever and like didn't know how to use it. And then I found it and I was like, let me try using it, and it still worked like perfectly fine. Like I figured out how to like grind it on the little stone. So I had a little bit of ink and I was like, okay, I don't know what to do with this, so I made this guy. Yep. And then this spread, I've shared this online as like a spread that I hate. I don't hate this one too much. I don't love these two. This was using Holbein gouache, this was Miya HImi gouache, and then this was the Kuretake Art Nouveau set. And I think the thing that I loved about this one was that the Art Nouveau set kind of like catered the color combinations for you, so like all of the colors kind of harmonize with themselves. Whereas like this one and this one, I was like choosing my own colors, and I just don't feel like they came out for the vision that I had in my head. I don't think they're bad paintings necessarily, but it's just not what I wanted. Like, I think this one is way too much green. I would have varied some of these colors, honestly, if I were to redo this painting. All of these I did, again, like during spring towards the end of like my intern year. You can see like, you definitely can see like some progress in my paintings and the way that I'm able to convey like values and depth. So I saw like a lot of improvement, and I was like feeling really well. Like I was feeling very solid. Like I felt like I got what I needed out of intern year, and I was a lot more comfortable in my role. And then the weather was also nicer, and like you had all this inspiration from all these pretty plants and rocks and all that. So yeah, I think this is where we're gonna end today. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope that, you know, whatever job you're in, if you're going through some stress, if you find a creative outlet, it can be really, really helpful. And that's coming from an MD. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.